Tonight, we're going to go over exercise and water, the two of them together. I like the way that they're set up with exercise and water right next to each other because the two of them really should be talked about together because they interrelate an awful lot. One requires the other. So let's look at exercise. Does everybody have a handout? Everybody has one? Okay. It says the body is a marvelous machine requiring regular physical activity. It's one of the most important things you can do to promote health. Walking is said to be the ideal exercise. Now again, when we get into talking about exercise, many times the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, I can't exercise. I can't go to the gym. And that's true. Many people can't. Many people can't go running. You can't jog, can't lift weights. But there's things that we can do. And that's why they talk about walking being so critical. Because even if all that we can do is limp and hobble and shuffle, we're still exercising the body as we're attempting to do that. Now, others can do running and everything else. They still have that in them. So you want to be able to do what you can do now. Anybody heard that term? If you don't use it, you'll lose it. It's true. If we're talking about our brain with using that, if we're not constantly using it, it decreases in function. If we're not working our bodies, as we get older, our muscles start to atrophy. They get smaller, okay? The amount of protein that we're able to absorb and that we normally get goes down as we're getting older. So our bodies are naturally going down. We need to be doing everything that we can to help bring them back up. All right? Other good forms of physical activity include swimming, cycling, gardening, and working in the yard. You know, swimming is a great one. And in fact, I have seen folks at the VA hospitals where I'm at, and they do those water yoga. You know, when I first heard about that, I was kind of thinking, that sounds kind of weird. You know, but when you look at what they're doing, there's no impact. You got the buoyancy of the water holding them up. You've got the resistance of the water as they're doing what they're doing, the movements that they're doing. Falling down is not a big issue, and it really works the body. So, something to think about. Gardening, well, I don't know about gardening here in Florida with the heat that you guys have here. But, I mean, today was a nice day. This was like a hot day back in Tennessee. But it was enjoyable here. Working in the yard. Regular exercise will also help keep the body more flexible as we age. How many people wake up in the morning a little bit stiff, tight, creaking? Nobody. I guess it's just me. Yeah, oh, okay. All right. Anybody else use a good hot shower to help them in the morning to get moving? Okay, we're going to talk about that in the water section. Tight muscles reduce flexibility and allow chronic pain to intensify. Now, with my injuries, I have found that if I don't do a stretching routine every single morning, that my back, shoulders, and neck tighten up long before noon hits, and I'm done for the day. So it's one of those things where I can't skip it. I can't forget it. I have to stretch every single morning. And if we did more stretching first thing in the morning when we got up, I think that you would find that we might have a little bit more flexibility and a little less chronic pain in the mornings or during the daytimes. Something to give it a try. By regularly exercising, we're able to help improve our flexibility, range of motion, and reduce chronic pain. If you have not been very active, Begin slowly with a balanced and well-planned program. You can go onto the internet, YouTube University. You can find all kinds of different programs. There's books, there's DVDs for all different age groups, for all different body injuries, those people with bad backs, those people with bad hips, all of these different ones. They have specific exercise programs that have even been formed by physical therapists that you can be using. And you just get something, and even if you just start and, I could only do 5 minutes. Great. 5 minutes is great. Maybe next week will be 10 minutes. And you just keep going. Just keep pushing a little. There's that fine line of knowing how much to push and when you're overdoing it. And believe it or not, your body will tell you. If you get done exercising, whether it's walking, whether it's yoga, whatever it is, and when you're all done, the rest of that day, if you feel just fine, you probably didn't push enough. But if you do it and 15, 20 minutes later, you're hurting, you've pushed too far. So you need to learn to listen to your body. Okay? All right. You will find this to be a wise investment for a healthy life. An inactive body becomes sluggish. Only 37% of Americans regularly engage in some form of exercise, and over 72% of Americans are overweight. Kind of tells me we need to be moving a little bit more, don't we? All right. Move your body daily in the way you most enjoy. Garden, walk, bike, go on hikes, tennis, soccer, run, etc. You know, I know that some people have desk jobs. Can't be helped. Sit behind a desk for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. It's tough. I was over at somebody's house last night. We were visiting, and that's what they do. They're stuck behind a desk, behind a computer screen for 10 hours a day. But what they've gone and done is they've got one of those desks that you push the button, comes up to whatever level you want. They can stand and work for a while. They can sit and work for a while. They even have a treadmill that they've got underneath that they can fold down, and they can walk as they're working on the computer screen. So there's ways that we can get around these things. We have to think outside of the box sometimes. Okay? You know, schedule that time. If you're behind the desk, every 30 or 45 minutes, every hour. Got to go drink water, have a bathroom break. Don't keep the water sitting right next to you. Keep the sign sitting next to you to remind you, but keep the water on the other side of the house. That way you have to walk, get your water, go to the bathroom, come back. Okay? Or if you're in an office setting, well, not the other side of the house, but, somewhere else. You can try to figure that out. All right. Aim for at least 30 minutes a day, and ideally an hour a day of exercise. Now, if you're instituting walking after meals, anybody that's been going to the Diabetes Undone program and seeing just how critical that is for our bodies, well, if you're doing 3 meals a day and you're walking for 10 to 15 minutes each time after you eat, well, there's between 30 and 45 minutes right there for your exercise each day. So, and again, like if you haven't been going to the Diabetes Undone program, walking immediately after you eat is one of the greatest things that you can be doing for your body. It's one of the greatest things that you can do. Okay? All right. Try to be as active as you can throughout the day. Get a standing work desk like we were just talking about. Make repeated walks to get water. Take 10-minute walking breaks. Stretch your body, etc. Raising your heart rate for 30 to 45 minutes per day to your optimum range is the goal. Now, let's look at some tips for exercise success. Anybody ever heard that term, dress for success? Normally that's thought of in the business world. Well, the same thing when you're exercising. Wear comfortable, properly fitting sneakers or flat shoes with laces. Don't try to be exercising and walking in flip-flops. Okay? It's not good for your feet and ankles. Wear comfortable, loose-fitting clothing that's appropriate for the weather and the activity that you're doing. Make the time. Start slowly. Gradually build up to at least 30 minutes of activity on most or all days of the week, or whatever your healthcare professional recommends. Exercise at the same time of day so it becomes a regular part of your daily routine. For example, you might walk every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from noon to 12:30. Walking immediately after eating has many health benefits. Find a convenient time and place to do activities. Try to make it a habit, but be flexible. You know, that's one of the things. This is not a rigid regime. You don't want to be thinking of it as a drudgery. Okay, yep, this is my time that I work out each day, or that I'm going to try to exercise from this time to this time. Oh, something came up. Somebody with a problem called me, and I'm now 25 minutes into my normal exercise time. So be it. Helping somebody else is more important anyhow. Now you just start whenever you can, or if you can't do it then, reschedule a different time. Be flexible with what you're doing. One of the things that's going to also do is that's going to help you decrease the stress that you're dealing with. Normally, most people that are dealing with physical health issues, that are trying to exercise more, changing diets or lifestyles, are struggling to some degree with some kind of stress. We need to do everything that we can to bring that stress level down. We've already been learning about how the mind, the body, and spiritually, it's all interconnected. And when you're stressed out up here, trust me, it goes down here as well. Okay? Now, it talked about, scheduling times for working out and exercising. You want to make sure that you're not doing a lot of exercising in the evenings. Why do you think that is? Keeps you awake. Absolutely. It brings up your metabolism, gets you going. Exercising first thing in the morning is the best because that helps get your body going. Drink that great big glass of water first thing when you get up in the morning. That starts your digestive system rolling because technically you've been intermittent fasting for the night. You get up at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You haven't eaten anything since maybe 3, 5 o'clock the night before. So now your body is ready to get going. You drink down a bunch of water, warm water, not cold, room temperature. Get your digestive system kicked in. Your metabolism is starting up, getting ready for breakfast. If you can, it's best to even exercise before you eat because it's a lot harder to exercise after you got that full stomach. Much harder. Okay? Keep reasonable expectations. If you have a high risk of coronary heart disease or some other chronic health problem, check with your healthcare provider before beginning a physical activity program. Look for chances to be more active during the day. Walk the mall before shopping. Take the stairs instead of the escalator. Or take 10 to 15 minutes walking or activity breaks while sitting through the day. If you work on a computer, find ways to get up and walk at regular intervals. Don't get discouraged if you stop for a while. Get started again and gradually work up to your old pace. Seen it happen many times. Somebody's not used to exercising. They start exercising. They're pumped up about it. They push themselves a little too hard. They pull a muscle. They have to stop for a while. Who knows, maybe a week. And right off the bat, they start getting down about it. Don't get down about it. These things happen. Just pick right back up as soon as you can. Start back in again. Maybe not pushing quite as hard. Okay? Make it fun. Who likes to do things that are like a drudgery that you don't like to do? I don't know many people that do. Oh, you do? Okay, I've got a lot of things that I can have you come over and do that I don't like doing. Make it fun. Okay? Somehow, some way, make it fun. I've known people that they decide that they're going to do their exercise time at such a time, and that's when it's a good time for talking with their grandkids, and they Zoom and Zoom with their grandkids or something like that. Make it fun. I know when Julie and I do our walks after we eat, we're talking like while we've been here, we've been talking about the programs, talking about different issues and items that we're dealing with, and all of a sudden we realize, wow, okay, we're about wrapped up. We need to get rolling with other things. So it makes your time go faster. If you can find somebody to walk with, exercise with, do that. A walking buddy. It helps tremendously. Help each other, because one day you're going to be kind of dragging and not really motivated to be doing it, and your partner, they can be helping you along, pulling you by the ear, motivating you. And the next day it might just be the opposite way around, okay? So make it fun. Choose activities that are fun, not exhausting. Develop a variety of activities that you can enjoy. That way, exercise will never seem boring or routine. Walk one day, swim the next, then go for a bike ride on the weekend. Ask family and friends to join you. You may be more likely to stick with it if you have company. Whenever it is safe to do so, use stress-relieving music or audiobooks to keep you entertained. Just make sure to always be aware of your surroundings. That's a difficult one depending on where you're at, because many times you've got to be very, very keenly aware of your surroundings and what's going on, who's around you, what's going to happen, vehicles, things like that. Even sometimes walking on nature trails, you need to be careful. So maybe in your house on a treadmill, that's a good place. You could go ahead and do that. But again, use your judgment. Okay? Track and celebrate your success. Note your activities on a calendar or in a logbook. Write down the distance or length of time of your activity and how you feel after each session. Now that's real important, because if you can sit there and look at what you've been doing, you've got a visual representation of, oh yeah, I just started this 3 weeks ago and I could only walk for 5 minutes at a time. Well, now I've been doing it 3 weeks and I'm consistently walking 15 minutes at a time. That's improvement. That's what it's all about. Not to mention the fact, I don't know about the insurance companies down here, but I have United Healthcare. And one of the things with United Healthcare is if I exercise 10 times a month for so many minutes, I log it in and they pay me $10 every month. Visit my doctor? Yep, did that right here for my yearly, $15. That's fun to me. Giving me money for something that I'm just going to do anyhow? You got to love that. In fact, I just signed off yesterday for a social event. Every once in a while, they'll put it on there that if you spend a social time with others, like church, like an educational meeting, cha-ching, $15. It's a wonderful thing. But you need to keep track of these, because I couldn't, in all honesty, sit there and say, oh yeah, I've done, what days? You got to tell them. You got to tell them, okay? Having some sort of of an exercise tracking watch is a wonderful tool to have. All right, keeps track of your walking and everything. Just walking normal. I'm just over 2.5 miles for today. Today's been a low day for us. So it's encouraging. It helps you move along. Okay? With the exercise, you want to make sure that you're drinking lots of water. Not tea, not soda, not juice, not sports drinks, water. No other liquid. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move into water. Okay? Since the body is made up mostly of water, drinking it helps in many ways. It helps your cognitive or thinking activities perform better, thinking, focus, and concentration, and mental alertness. Water also raises your energy level. It is an all-around cleanser of the body, both inside and outside. Many times we only think of water being a cleanser on the outside of the body. We shower, we bathe, but we just don't think that water is also cleansing on the inside. Okay? Your kidneys need pure water tremendously for the cleaning of your blood. Okay? Water is important to maintaining health, and the more you weigh, the more water your body requires. No other beverage of any kind is able to purify the body like water. It's important to drink pure water and not regular tap water with chlorine and fluoride in it. Drink water between meals and little, if any, while you eat. Anybody remember why not to drink with your meals?
Dilutes the digestive enzymes.
That's right. Because as soon as you start eating, all right, you're starting your digestive enzymes in the mouth for the proteins that you're eating. It continues down. It's supposed to bring the acidic levels up to kill off any bacteria. That way your digestion is at a regular pace going through. But if I'm slugging water down or soda or something else with it, now I'm messing up the actual digestive process. So you want to drink between your meals, not during and with your meals. Drinking with meals dilutes the gastric digestive enzymes, slows the digestive process, and decreases the acidity of the stomach, which can allow microbes normally killed by high acid to pass through alive. A lack of water dehydrates the tissues, fluids, and cells of the body. A lack of water also causes increased joint pain for those that suffer with arthritis. This was a real big aha moment for me years ago, dealing with joint injuries from the military and arthritis, and then finding that whenever I really drank a lot more water, wow, my pain was less. It wasn't gone, but it was definitely systemic less. My hips didn't hurt, my shoulders didn't hurt as much. You have to think about it. Our bodies are almost all made up of water. They say that when our percentage of water has dropped by 2%, cognitively, we are now like we were intoxicated. We can't think properly. Our functions are slower, and that's just dropping 2%. 1% is the point where you start to get thirsty. You think you're thirsty. So how many of us feel as though we're thirsty and keep pushing on? I know I do it sometimes. I shouldn't. Okay? Many times as well, we talked about it in a nutrition segment, that you think that you're hungry, but actually you're just thirsty. So if you think that you're hungry, especially if it's between meals, don't snack, drink water. See how that helps you. Okay? All right. Okay. Lack of water also causes the blood to thicken, increasing the risks of stroke and heart disease. Dehydration can mimic hypoglycemia, causing headaches, tiredness, and fainting spells. You've got to have water in your system to keep the viscosity or the thickness of your blood the way it's supposed to be. When it gets too thick, it doesn't pass through the arteries as well as it should. It slows down. Then, if you're drinking caffeine on top of that, that's bringing down the size. I just lost the word. I've lost it. It constricts, vasoconstrictor. It constricts your arteries down, bringing your blood pressure up. And if you don't have enough water, your blood is getting thicker. You're getting into a prime problem. Drink the water. So probably everybody's heard that you should drink 8 cups of water a day. Everybody heard that? It's a good start. But what they've come to find scientifically is there's actually a formula for each person. And it's a real easy formula. You take your body weight, you divide it, and it's right here. You take your body weight, you divide it in half, and that's the number of ounces per day that you should be drinking. So if you weigh 150 pounds, half of that is 75. You need to be drinking 75 ounces of water a day. 200 pounds, 100 ounces. 100 pounds, 50 ounces. That's just to maintain. You go out in the Florida heat, walking, sweating, guess what? You need more. You need more. So your baseline is those number of ounces for your body weight. And then depending on what you're doing, you'll need to drink more water on top of that. So like it says drink plenty of water in between meals. It's said to aim for at least 8 cups per day. But every person is different, and the following formula is a far better daily goal. Your body weight in pounds divided by 2 equals the number of ounces of water needed per day. So example, 180-pound person divided by 2 equals 90, so 90 ounces of water per day. And the easiest way that we have found to keep track of that is like I have a bottle right here. You guys have probably already seen that I keep this with me almost like it's tied to me because I drink a lot of water. Well, I know that this is 27 ounces. So now knowing, okay, trying to remember how many ounces have I done? I have no idea. I need to drink a minimum of 4 bottles a day. That's my goal that I have set. So all I have to do is remember bottle 1, bottle 2, bottle 3, bottle 4. Make it a lot easier. Okay. Avoid juices, even 100% juices, sugary drinks, and caffeine, including black and green tea. Try non-caffeinated herbal teas instead. Use water for healing. Hydrotherapy has powerful healing effects on the body. Is anybody familiar with hydrotherapy? Like hot and cold, doing that? Okay, there is much healing that water can do on the outside of the body as well. Remember that when you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So when you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. All right, let's look at 7 tips to help you drink more water and like it. Because you don't want it to be a drudgery either. You don't want to say, oh, I've got to drink my water. You've got to enjoy it. First of all, get used to drinking water. That's one of the biggest ones. A lot of people say, oh, I hate water. I hate water. How often do you drink it? Oh, I try not to drink it. That's the key. The more you drink of it, the more you get used to it. Not to mention the fact, if you're drinking good quality water, it's going to taste a whole lot better, not with the chlorine and the fluoride in it. And you want to be very careful with all the flavored waters, okay? If you're taking your water and you're squeezing some lemon or some lime in it, it's great, good on you. But if you're buying the commercially processed stuff that's got different sweeteners and different artificial flavors, you're better off not doing those. Okay? Start your day with water. You're doing your body a service if you start every morning with a tall glass of water. After 7 or more hours of fasting, water will energize and help flush out your organs. If you really want a morning kick, one that's way more effective on the inside than coffee, try a glass of lukewarm water with a sprinkle of cayenne pepper and a squeeze of fresh lemon to get you started. How many people think that that would get you started? It takes a little bit to get used to that, but it helps your digestive system, it helps your metabolism, and it gets you going. The lemon juice and cayenne pepper will help detox your body, boost your immunity, and destroying bad bacteria in your digestive system. Number 2, nix the coffee. Most people feel that they need a morning coffee to get started in the early hours. However, caffeine, a diuretic, actually robs the body of what little water it has left after a long night of slumber. And you can imagine what coffee's effect is if you have 2 or 3 cups. So do your body a favor and drink water, and even switch to herbal tea instead of coffee. We can talk long and hard on the bad effects of caffeine, but we're not going to. I'm going to talk about the positive effects of water. I can tell you that when I used to be in the Navy on board ship at sea, my normal day at that time would be normally about 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day. I was a Pepsi guy, so I drank at least another 6 Pepsis during the day. And then whenever I got a chance, I loved that sweet tea. So I was banging my head with caffeine, trying to keep going. The problem with caffeine with the body is it's like a credit card, okay? You can use it, you can use it, you can use it. Problem is, the time's going to come when you got to pay. And when your body crashes from that caffeine or not having it because your body is addicted to the caffeine now, that's when you see people at their worst without their coffee. I was there. I'm speaking from experience, not from a book. When you get off of the caffeine, you're allowing your body to provide the needed energy that it needs instead of that artificial kick, constantly that artificial kick, always trying to keep you going, okay? So you'll be much better off without the coffee. If you're really used to that morning cup of coffee, that's fine. Trade it out with something else. Use a coffee substitute. I like Roma. I loved the taste of coffee. I've found that Roma is very similar. Not the same, but similar. There's also several Ticino products that are a tea bag made from dandelion root. Very good, very similar in taste as well, and they're very cleansing. Okay? Number 3, add extra taste to plain water. Many people don't like water because it has no taste. Well, you can fix that problem fairly easy. Add some fresh and healthy flavor to your water with a quick squeeze of a lemon, lime, grapefruit, or orange, or any type of fruit juice, or of fresh fruit. Now you have to remember, you're not talking about squeezing a whole bottle of grape juice. You're not talking about squeezing a whole bottle of orange juice. Just adding a little bit of flavor to your cup of water, your glass of water. You can also add some thinly sliced ginger, lemon rind, or cucumber. You can even add frozen berries for some zip. Just make sure they have no sugar added. Seeing is reminding, number 4. It's understandable that we can get so busy during the day that we just forget to drink any water. However, If you're sitting at a desk, typing at a computer, you can keep a large refillable bottle at your desk and take sips as you work. Even if you're not at a desk, keep a reusable water bottle with you as a reminder. There's something to the power of seeing the bottle and drinking from the bottle. You'll likely even get into the habit of going to the washroom for a quick break to stretch your legs, and then you get more water then. Okay? Warm and hydrate with herbal tea. What's that, you say? Your office is like an igloo? Well, that's an easy fix. Just swap regular water for herbal teas. Just don't add any sugar. You can find an herbal tea in almost any flavor at 0 calories and 0 caffeine to keep you hydrated and warm all day long. Because of the way herbal teas are, they're herbs, they're not affecting the water in such a way to where the water is no longer beneficial to your body like it is in coffee. So you're getting the best of both worlds there. Attach a water bottle to your hip. This kind of goes along with number 4. Maybe not literally, but carrying a refillable water bottle with you when you do errands, go for walks, take a yoga class, play with the kids, even go fishing, will help solidify a healthy habit and make it part of your regular routine. Soon you'll be bringing your water buddy everywhere and never paying for outrageous priced single-use water bottles again. Has anybody ever been somewhere where you were forced to put money in a machine for a bottle of water? Is that not a heart-wrenching problem? We were in Texas visiting our daughter and son-in-law last year, and they had this beautiful botanical park. But you couldn't bring your own food and water in. And it was out in the sun in Texas. And a regular bottle of Aquafina was like $4.50. Mercy. So, yeah. Attach a water bottle to your hip whenever possible. Consume foods with hydration benefits. Foods like cucumber, watermelon, grapes, celery, oranges, tomatoes. You know what they got in common? They are all water-rich foods that contribute nourishment and hydration to the diet. This is why a fresh fruit and vegetable smoothie blended with fresh fruits and mixed greens and water makes a great breakfast. All right. How about we find somebody that would mind getting a microphone for us, and we can see if there's any questions, any thoughts, any encouragements from you all. Okay? He's bringing a microphone. He'll be right to you.
When I accept Jesus, until I accept Jesus in 1995, I was going to see my doctor, and she was telling me, you need to stop drinking coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I have cystic fibrosis, which I don't know what it is, just a name. When I accept Jesus, he took it away.
Mm-hmm.
I'd not even pray or ask anything. God took it away.
Yep.
But I was still looking for the coffee. And I try every kind of coffee. Sanka, Folgers, you name it, everything in the market. Then I find Roma. And that set me up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I didn't look no more.
Yeah.
When you mentioned you drink Roma, that's what I was stuck in that. I was so addicted, I was drinking 3 cappuccinos a day. 3 black coffees a day. One in the morning to make me go, another one at lunchtime, another one after supper. That's Portuguese style.
Yeah. Society has it set in our minds that coffee is needed to start your day. I mean, you just look around, Starbucks and all of the different places that cater to that. You got to have your coffee in the morning. And they train us. They train us.
This afternoon, I talked to my niece. She called me, telling me my sister-in-law is free from cancer. She have no cancer at all.
Wonderful.
And I want to thank today, and I got to thank another time, because I see very few people here, for the ones who pray for my sister-in-law. She's free. The doctor called them, and they told them she had cancer-free. There's nothing, no cancer at all, okay?
What a blessing.
And I want to thank the ones who pray for her.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And I want to say something else, but you skip on me anyway. Thank you.
Have a hand up over here.
Well, one of the things you can use for hydrating is chia seeds. They're good for hydrating the body. They're also a complete protein, which is really great. You can add that to salad, smoothies, you name it. And so that one's pretty good. Or the morning, the morning oats that you had us do.
Overnight oats.
Overnight oats, yeah. Also, I also had a coffee problem. I was a pretty avid weekend coffee drinker. For the majority of my, I would say my entire teens, early to mid 20s. My cup of coffee, I was a Dunkin' Donuts Boston guy, so it wasn't any of the Starbucks nonsense. It was the big cups like this big, 20 ounce or whatever. And each one would have 16 to 20 sugars in it. And, back then my body could take that kind of a pounding because I used to be in shape. But
it was on credit.
Yeah, exactly. It was on credit, paying for it now. But just like her, I found aroma. That one helped me a lot. It's very similar to coffee flavor-wise.
The only thing that we have to be careful with is if you are gluten intolerant, Roma it's got gluten. Okay, so you just have to remember that. And then as well, make a determination, will that 1 teaspoon be enough to affect you during the day? And you know your body. You have to try that and find out yourself.
Yeah, but I was going to say sparingly too. I find that it satisfies more than coffee did. So I'll do like one, I don't know, every few months. I don't do it that often at all. And for a little treat, I like to do something that tastes like a Frappuccino. If people like that flavor, just add a little bit of vanilla milk and what do you call it, soy milk or oat milk or something, and put a little bit of organic maple syrup. It has that kind of a culotta flavor without too much sugar.
That's it. Anything else? Right here in the back.
I have AFib and I have bad lungs, and my church family would tell you I have an oxygen machine I carry with me. I have it in my car, but I started exercising a half hour a day inside my house. I have my oxygen machine on it. I set it on a 2, and my heart and my lungs are improving. I had a doctor's appointment a week ago Wednesday. He didn't want to see me until December the 5th, but my church family will tell you I started carrying the machine in and go to church. Now I leave it in my car.
Wonderful.
And if I need it, I have it with me. It's sort of like a security blanket.
Sure.
But the exercise and I drink water. I do mine a little different. I have a water distiller, and I put the amount of water in the bottles, and I count how many waters I drink. And the first thing I do is I drink water when I first get up in the morning. And I go from there, and then I have a banana, an orange, and then I have maybe a stripple with a tortilla in that. And my health is improving. And also I have a question. what do you think about drinking distilled water? There's some pros and cons on that.
Distilled water is far, far better than tap water. There are people that can really use the dissolved minerals that are in water. When you use the reverse osmosis, you're doing away with almost all of the electrolytes and the minerals that are naturally occurring in it, whereas regular filtered water has still got that in it. So
You don't have to add minerals to your water, distilled water? They
you
have
should-
minerals you can add to it.
You can add to it, but there's really no need to. Really no need to.
So distilled water is okay to drink?
I do. I've never had a problem with it.
Oh, okay.
It can leach your body of minerals though, because it sucks it up. So it's generally warranted that you take Celtic salt or something like that and put it under your tongue when you drink. But drinking just distilled water is probably not that healthy. It
If-
actually tries to leach minerals from you like a vacuum.
And I would agree with that if your lifestyle is such to where you're not eating properly and getting all of the minerals that you need through a good whole food plant-based diet. So if you're eating a standard American diet loaded with processed foods and sugars and everything, then absolutely you need to be adding a lot of different additives, not
No.
additives.
I'm a vegetarian,
Okay,
my health is improving, and
good.
I feel the only trouble I have, I don't like, is I have to get up during the night and go to the bathroom. I don't like that.
Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Right up here in the front.
I had another comment, but since we've gotten on the distilled water, I went to one of our wellness centers and we had all kinds of water sitting out and tested all of them for particles per million or whatever it was called in the waters. And the only one that was okay for us to drink was, I think Dasani was one that was okay, but basically distilled was the absolute best. And he said exactly what you said. You get your minerals from your food. You get your water from your water, period. And distilled, and we tested them all. And spring was really close to well water. Spring water comes down, and it picks up everything and anything on its way down. So spring water, he told us, avoid spring water, and of course tap water, and we know all those others. But I learned about the no spring water, and so I always do. I have mine delivered. It's the only luxury in my house is distilled water, which I very much enjoy. And the other thing I was going to say, I listened to so many different people. I don't know who said it, but whoever it was said, don't take, in the morning, you do take your water first off, but don't just put your head back and take like a water bottle that you buy somewhere, it says, and you just chug, 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 and now you've got your water. I think it was Barbara, I'm not sure, but anyway, she said, you don't drink your water like that. I've seen you take your water and you take a few sips and you put it down. You don't drain that all at one time. And she explained why. That I don't remember. I just know that we don't drink our water that way. We do keep the water coming in throughout the day. But I watched somebody in our last cooking class, and she had a bottle of spring water, and she had it up, and she drank the whole thing. Well, I didn't tell her what I'm telling you, but I thought to myself, no one's ever told her not to do it like that.
Yeah. Now, another thing, too, to remember on the different types of water. You know, there's reverse osmosis, there's spring water, there's well water, there's tap water. There's all these different waters. You need to do the research yourself as well. You need to determine which one you like the best. Like we do a lot of the primo water that we refill our own jugs, which is reverse osmosis, silver impregnated filters with charcoal. It's got everything there. We love the taste of it. Okay? So you've got to make that determination, but still it goes right back. We got one in the back. It goes right back to, if you're eating a diet that's balanced in a plant-based nutrition, you're going to be getting all of your nutrition that way. Okay?
Two things. As far as what Linda said, I did I guess, eight different kinds of water. And I guess the only reason I would say this, out of the 8, Kangen, of course, was the most expensive. You had to pay a couple $1,000s for that machine. But I gathered all the other waters and tested them with the pH and stuff. The Dasani was the worst out of the 8 because it's very acidic. It's by the Coca-Cola company. So I wouldn't recommend drinking that kind, the Dasani. But I can give you my own testimony of water. When I was a child at age 10, I guess my father was a smoker, and as a little kid, I thought everybody had to have a habit. So my habit, I decided, would be sugar. And I would go to the store, I would collect bottles in the street just to have enough money to buy my habit. And I would buy Lick-O-Maid and all those sugar drinks and the candy necklaces and a box of rock candy for 15 cents. And I would sit on the curb and chomp on that rock candy every week because I had to have my habit. So I was really taking in a lot of bad stuff. We lived on Kool-Aid for water, because, other drinks were too expensive, milk and stuff. So Kool-Aid was every day. At the age of 10, I basically started having an infection in my hand, and it started on one finger, and then it would itch, and I would scratch it, and then it would spread to the other fingers. My whole entire right hand was infected to the point where it started bleeding because I would scratch it so much, and it flake off with the skin. And then my hand started going into the form of a claw. And then the kids in school would call me for 2 years, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I would not be able to participate because my hand couldn't work with sports and stuff, and I couldn't climb ropes. And I had to wear a white glove to school, and the kids used to call me the claw. And it was really hard when you're being teased by kids. I used to cry, "Mommy, please have my hand cut off." I couldn't take it. So I lived with this. We went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I had to soak my hands 3 times a day and for 30 minutes in water as hot as you could blow it off, and it would just, kill the infection. Also, I had to do it with Epsom salt and also boric acid, which I ended up getting boric acid poisoning anyway. But I did that for years, and I had to I was on cortisone for 17 years, which basically gave me osteoporosis. Okay, for 17 years, I had this infection. Okay, I used to have my hands tied up to the bed at night because they itched so much, and then it spread on my other hand, and then also my toes. I could not get rid of this. So what happened was, when I became an Adventist, I heard the health message about water, and I remember the Lord was impressing me, because here I went from having my hands, which was drying my skin out constantly, all that half-hour soaking 3 times a day, and it was peeling and flaking. It was so gross, pussing. It was terrible. So what happened was I learned that we should drink more water, and this is what the Lord impressed me to do, is to put a bag over my hands when I took a shower so I keep the water off of my hands, restore some of the moisture in my skin, put shepherd's lotion on it, and then the cortisone. And, I stopped doing the cortisone. And then what happened was I had to learn to drink more water. So less water on the outside, more water inside. And my hand was totally restored. I have hands, I have fingerprints. I had no fingerprints. You could have never found a fingerprint at the FBI because I didn't have any fingerprints on my right hand.
What a wonderful
testimony. So praise
testimony.
God for the water.
Yes, yes. Any others before we wrap up for tonight?
So I don't have all my facts here. I was trying to find some of them, but orange juice has a lot of benefits to orange juice, natural orange juice, not, additive orange juice, but real orange juice absolutely has so much healing effects, things that help with heart disease and mood enhancement, brain cognitive, where you help your brain, all that good stuff. So orange juice, if you do your research on orange juice, look it up.
Orange juice is very good for you. So is pure 100% grape juice. The problem is, how many people will only have that much of either one at a time? Because you have to remember, when you're doing a juice, you don't have the fiber that goes with it. So even though there's no added sugar to a good, healthy, wholesome orange juice or grape juice, you're still dealing with a concentrated, natural sweetened liquid that doesn't have the fiber with it. So whether you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, it's still going to be slamming your blood sugar to some degree. So you have to be very careful with that. Every once in a while, Julie will find a not from concentrate orange juice for me. Real nice. I'll take 1 swallow a day.
Well, I'm going to say we had orange juice that we were juicing because I was bringing oranges from the local area. And we juiced so many oranges that I juiced 3 gallons, I think, at one time, 2 or 3 gallons. And the pulp was so thick, when you're drinking it, it tasted feeling like you're drinking the orange without, because it had so much pulp in it.
But even most of your processed orange juices that say with the pulp, the amount of pulp that's in there for the amount of juice is very minimal. So we just have to be very judicious with that. All right. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Why don't we go ahead and close with a word of prayer? Father, we thank you that you have given us all that we need in the Bible for our salvation. And you have also given us everything that we need for the knowledge of good health. We just ask that you would help us, Father, to make it a priority in our lives for our physical, our mental, and our spiritual well-being. Be with each individual that's gathered here tonight, those that are watching live right now or watching after the fact, and I just pray that your Spirit would touch each and every heart and lift each one of us up higher, Father, that we would be closer to Thee. We ask all these things